Another NAMM has come and gone. This is my 4th time working at the show with Line 6 and Yamaha Guitar Group. I want to share with you my experience working at the show, some of what goes down on the floor, and a few of my personal highlights from this year's NAMM show. On Monday, the product specialist team arrived in Anaheim to get settled in and start setting up the booth before the show. Here's some of our gear ready to be unloaded. Some of us got ready with a little bit of yoga. This is the Yamaha booth where we went to grab the rest of our gear from. Luckily, we have our own separate, smaller booth than this. I also walked around to check out the booth and see the guitar stage where I'll be performing later in the week. Tuesday, we arrived back at the booth at 10 a.m. to continue setup, which includes unloading and unpacking gear and equipment from boxes, setting up the stage, building and setting up demo stations, prepping guitars, doing sound checks, and play testing the gear to make sure everything works. Wednesday, we finished setting up and tidying up the booth, and we were pretty much done by 4 p.m. We just had a few sound checks to close out the day. Thursday was the first day of the show, and I started bright and early with a solo guitar set at 9 a.m. in the Marriott Cafe. Even a little sing-along happened. After that, I had another performance at 12:20 playing duo with Ampeg product specialist and bassist Jake Greenberg. Performing jazz duo at NAMM had its own challenges, especially in the Yamaha booth. There's trumpets, guitars, drums, pianos, synthesizers, all making noise, and you're trying to perform in somewhat of an intimate configuration. But we gained a few fans, and one of our fans even gave us a name, the Chi-Town Shank. I guess that's the name of our new jazz duo. After day one's performances, I didn't check out much of the rest of the show. I just hung out in the Line 6 booth for a couple hours and worked there. And then after the show, I met up with a couple buddies, and we went and saw Kurt Rosenwinkel with Omar Hakim's group, and then checked out this weird sort of secret party that I wish I got a video of. Day 2 started back up with another solo guitar performance. Afterwards, I headed up to the 3rd floor of the convention center and watched all the exhibitors come in before the public. Then I headed down and walked the main floor just before opening. The main floor hosts manufacturers and brands both big and small. You can check out the newest gear, catch artist demos and meet and greets, and all sorts of other happenings are taking place on the main show floor. As day 2 got started, I did a walk of Hall E. Hall E is usually home to acoustic guitars, supply companies, and other oddities. There's a lot of Chinese manufacturers who sell all types of guitar and musical instrument parts, products, and more. There's usually something odd or interesting to see in Hall E, so it's worth a walk through. And it isn't really NAMM without running into or seeing Frank Gambale at least once. After walking the main floor, it was time for the daily 12:20 duo performance with Jake Greenberg on the Yamaha guitar stage. rest of the day I hung out in the Line 6 booth answering questions and enjoying Paul Heinmarsh's demo of the new Pod Go. Later on in the evening, there was a party in the Line 6 booth for our customers and fans. Day 3 started just the same with more solo jazz guitar. And then I headed for the convention center. I then went and walked around the main show floor again with the general public. As you can see, it's pretty busy on the main floor, and Saturday was probably the busiest day by far. My personal favorite highlight from this year's NAMM show was having saxophonist Alex Hahn sit in with Jake and I. Alex is a phenomenal sax player and composer with a ton of awards and accolades under his belt. He's played with some of the best jazz musicians, including Herbie Hancock. It was amazing to have him sit in with us. I'll upload the full performance to YouTube sometime soon. Sunday, day 4 was the final day of the show, and I didn't have either of my daily performances. So I was just hanging out in the Line 6 booth, answering questions, and watching demos from fellow product specialists and all-around badass Nick Bell, and performances from other Line 6 and Ampeg artists. At the end of every day, Tony Campanovo, Line 6 product specialist for the Southeast, closed it out with a set of original music. Tony is an amazing guitarist and musician, and you should go check out his music after this video.
It's 5 o'clock, everybody. All right, let's power up everything and let's close the doors to the exhibit, please.
After that, it was time to tear the booth down and get back home. But not before one more team sing-along. And on that delirious note, NAMM 2020 was over.